Yes, people. Welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. We've got Man City at the weekend, so it's only right I bring the main man in, representing Man City. Big Steve in the building. How we doing, mate?
I'm very well, mate. Thank you. Are you?
I'm all good, mate. I am all good. We're just talking off air there, right, about your rival Tiaz. We're going to talk about more. I mentioned it more on the channel and socials coming up. But Big Steve's got this rival Tiaz water bottles. I hope you're not bringing any up to Newcastle on Saturday, mate, Steve, because I didn't want to be seeing you leaving them around St. James's Park, necking them off in front of everyone, right? If you beat us. We don't need that right now.
There'll be a few bottles there, mate. There'll be a few bottles there. We've had a few tears this week from Arsenal, you know what I mean? There's been a hell of a lot of Arsenal tears, you know what I mean, running around. Monday morning, the country was flooded. There was a sinkhole at Wimbledon, and that was because of the Arsenal tears. You've never seen as many wet wipes crying in your life. So there's plenty of tears about them, innit?
There is that. You must be sold out with them bottles, mate. After last weekend, AFTV's bought them all, I think. So be alright. Listen, we'll talk about the game soon, Steve. But when we come together, I think it's only right we have to touch on the ownerships. And right now we have to talk about Eddie Howe in particular for Newcastle, because I was just watching the overlap that was released this morning. They actually do quite a big segment on Newcastle for a change, and they talk about Eddie Howe and the England job and everything else. You've said to me quite a bit in the past, Steve. Eddie Howe, is he going to be the man to take you forward? Because you know more than anyone, better than anyone. Man City, when they take over, they had to take the leap, didn't they? Next stage, new man, that sort of thing. Do you think it's the time for Newcastle to do that, or how far can Eddie Howe take Newcastle United?
Well, like we said, didn't we, a year ago on my Big Six show, I said to you, Eddie Howe won't ever win you a trophy. And that was my honest opinion. I wasn't trolling. I said, there's no way he's going to win you the trophy. I can see it from the outside looking in. The way I see it is he's a great guy and he's a good manager, but he's not an elite manager. And I said to you on the Big Six, people can go back, don't get emotionally attached to Eddie Howe, because that will be that will be, in my opinion, the downfall. Because when the time is right to cut him, the fans will be like, no, he's brilliant and he's done this. And I know he's took you to Europe and I know he's done this and I know he's done that. But we did the same with Mancini. We got so attached to him that when the results started to slide, nobody could see past the Premier League title. And I know Eddie Howe's not won a Premier League title, but we were blinkered by it. And then it was down to the ruthless ownership that they sacked him. We wasn't happy with it. But what do we know? Since we sacked him, we went on to bigger and better things. So I just believe that, I feel Newcastle have been shafted with these FFP bullshit rules. I've said that from day one. Nobody was more happier than me to see Newcastle get dough. I thought Newcastle's going to come in, they're going to have a fucking mad one, bring all these top players in, and we're going to have a player at the top table. And that's what any genuine football fan probably wanted, but it's not what the big boys wanted. Now you're seeing as a Newcastle fan that, you know, it isn't Man City crying about these teams. There is a red cartel in this Premier League that doesn't want anyone new coming to the table. They want all the pie. They don't want to be dishing it out. And to see a Newcastle come and win a league or win a Champions League or something like that before Arsenal, for say, they don't want it, mate. They don't want it. And like you say, for me, I'm a Man City fan. I'd fucking love Newcastle to go and spend 500 million. I don't give a shit. I'd love it. I'd love it. And that's me, because I'm a football fan. I grew up with teams going out and spending what they want. And I had to take it on the chin. You know, I couldn't sit there in my bedroom and go, oh, Man United have just bought Andy Cole for 7 million and we've bought fucking Jamie Pollock for 200k. It's like, it's fucking, you just took it on the chin. But these clubs, mate, they can't handle it. And the rules have got to change. And I tell you what, Man City are going toe-to-toe with them. And I feel like if we can beat them in this Premier League saga, I think that this FFP might get scrapped.
Oh, I hope so, mate. Honestly, I really hope so, because it does have to change for people to be competitive. Otherwise, like you say, it's going to be the same old up there, the same old every single year, unless you get a mad breakthrough like we did to get fourth even, or Leicester win the league. That's a fucking absolute anomaly. So it has to change. The rules have to change, and hopefully you can do something in these charges. What do you reckon is going to happen there, though? Because you're getting all these rumours, you know, this is going to happen, dock points across seasons. You've heard it all. From what you're hearing, what you're thinking, what do you reckon the outcome is going to be?
Well, we're just, what I say to people is, listen, I can only back the chairman. The chairman and Sheikh Mansour have done no damage to this football club. Everything they said they were going to do, they've done. everything they said they were going to invest around the communities and training ground, etc. They've done. So we've got to back our chairman. You know what I mean? It's not like it's Faxin Shinawatra, who was our old chairman, who was bent as a 9-bob. No, it's not like we're going into battle with him. We're going in there with Caldoon and that. And they said one important thing they said in the statement a couple of years ago was, we look forward to giving our irrefutable evidence to the panel. Now, if my chairman's saying that, I'm believing him. And that's all I'm going to do. And everyone in the world is found Man City guilty already. Everyone in the world can't accept that Man City are winning football matches because they're a good side. It's all about, oh, well, yeah, it's how you got there. It's a load of nonsense. And at the end of the day, we'll find out soon enough. And if they are guilty of big things, then I've got a problem that I'm going to have to face. And I'll face it. You know, I've told all the channels I've been on, I'll come on at the end of the case. But every channel I've been on, you're already guilty. You know what I mean? This overlap you just spoke about this week, I turned it down because it was a 115 pylon. So why am I going to put myself in a room with 30 people that A, they hate my football club, B, they all think they're fucking lawyers, and C, it's a 30-man pylon. So why am I going to do that? I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? So I just said, nah, I'm not doing it. And it's a lot of it's jealousy, mate. You've probably seen it now with Newcastle getting the money. Everyone used to be, oh, we love Newcastle. The fans are great. They've got great support. Now it is a fucking hate Newcastle. They think they're this, they think they're that. They've got more money and all that. And then you're going to get that. It's just jealousy, mate. It's just jealousy.
It is. Any time Newcastle, and this is the thing, even if Eddie Howe did go on to win the FA Cup this season, right, it would still be, well, Saudi money, isn't it? Yeah, he didn't do nothing for fucking 50 years, so it's just the Saudi money. Even though it'll be fucking Dan Burn and Jacob Murphy playing, it still wouldn't be like, there would be no congratulations. It would all be, like you say, bitterness, jealousy. Well, you pumped it all in, you know what I mean? That's the only reason you won. So it's one of them ones where I know we can't really win now going forward, because if FFP changed and then we can go and spend 100 million on someone, give them 400 grand a week, the outrage would be beautiful. And I'd be drinking those rival Tears bottles fucking all day long, mate. Can't wait for it. Fingers crossed that you beat the case. But just quickly back on Eddie Howe then, should Newcastle sack him then? Or do you think he should go for the England job?
I feel like it depends what the next step in the Newcastle project is. I feel like the FFP's really, really like thrown a big spanner in it. So, but I mean, if they're thinking, right, we've built up a few quid here, we've worked our way out of getting around this rules, we've got a bit of a war chest to spend, we can go for the Champions League again. I believe you need someone better than him. I do. I feel like he's just limited. I feel like he's a good, safe manager. But I just can't see him doing anything, and I don't know why. But some of your fans are probably going to say this City fan's talking shit, but I'm just being honest. I just can't see it. I feel like you've got to go to the next level, and I feel like you fans need that as well. I feel like you've had all this hype about the money, you got so excited, and it's not quite gone where you need it to go. And I feel like you just need someone to get behind. You just need a bit of something different, you know what I mean? And if you don't make the Champions League this year, I think then you've got to be in the Champions League. If you want to be an elite team and be serious, you've got to get in that Champions League regular. That's your bread and butter. If you don't make it this year, I feel like he's going to have to go. The
problem is behind the scenes, you know, we've had a lot of unrest since Paul Mitchell, a new sporting director, came in, Amanda Stavely and that left. So it's, you know, it's all over the press that they're not getting on. Eddie Howe and Paul Mitchell not seeing eye to eye.
What's the crack with that? Why did she leave? What's going on there? Because I thought she was like the face of it all.
Exactly, she was the face of it, but then she basically ran out of money, mate. She hasn't got much money. She cashed in on her shares, but also the club started hiring people that were actually in the positions. So they started hiring Paul Mitchell, sporting director, CEOs, getting the right people in the right places, and she was basically just sitting around with nothing to do anymore. And then she needed the money, so she just took off, basically. But there was a change of rules, change of everything. But to be fair, a lot of Newcastle fans are now saying, well, we've just had a failed transfer window. We didn't strengthen the 11. Before that, we're saying Isaac and Bruno when Amanda was here and Eddie was in charge. We've mixed things up, but so far it hasn't worked. Do you know, Mitchell and Howe are clashing heads, and it's not looking good. Like, you know, it's probably only going to end one way with someone leaving. Talks that, you know, Mitchell would want to bring in his own man. He's desperate to. He worked with Pochettino before at Spurs when he was the sporting director, and at Southampton he worked with Nagelsmann at over in the Bundesliga. So, he could be bringing his own man. When you say we'll have to move on to the elite manager, they're hard to find now, they want they? If I look at
Very
it,
hard.
I'd probably pick maybe Tuchel. Would he be a good replacement for Eddie Howe? When you think of a name to take us up a level, it's not like
I think Newcastle me is a fucking such a good job for anybody because it's a massive club. You've got great supporters. The supporters are real supporters that don't over expect or fucking dive on a manager's back. They will back the manager to the death. And I feel like they're craving for a trophy. I thought in my head, Mourinho, before he went to Turkey, would be perfect. I thought he's got a bit of swagger, a bit of arrogance. You guys could get behind it. He'd build an horrible team that could fucking win. Get you a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup. He'd have a statue outside there. And so I just feel you've just got someone looking at that job. It's a very attractive proposition. It's not like there's jobs out there where you look at it and you think, fucking hell, like look at the Man United job now. Yeah, Man United are a big club, massive. But who the fuck's going to go there? Why would you want to go there? Do you know what I mean? It's just the place is just minging. And it's like, you look at Newcastle and you think, fucking hell, they're doing this, they're building this, they're looking like they're going somewhere. The fans are desperate for a bit of football and a trophy, and I feel like somebody out there will take it. I just feel they've got to go to the next level, and get there. And I feel like you're building a new training ground, aren't you, and stuff like that. Are you doing stuff like that? Are you improving it?
They've spent 10 million on the current one, and then apparently a feasibility study is on its way to build another one. And obviously, they're going to decide whether to build a new stadium or extend St James Park. So all that's coming in the next couple of months, hopefully.
Because our academy now, they've made like over 400 million in the last 4 years. And a lot of these young kids, we've got like a conveyor belt now where there's kids going for 20 million who you've never heard of, and 12 million, or they're getting 50% sell-on clauses. So City are thinking a way to get round this FFP is to make an academy. You can literally farm these players out. And I feel like...
We took young lad off you last year, didn't we? We took that young midfielder off you last year, didn't we? Alfie Harrison.
Yeah.
He played a bit of pre-season, looked all right.
Yeah, he's a good little player. Got a little bit about him as well, a bit of attitude, and that doesn't just take the run of the mill. If something's not right, he'll say it. But City, like I say, City are going down that route and making the money that way. I just feel Newcastle are probably a couple of years off doing that. But I think once they get it all sorted, the infrastructure and that'll start paying it dividends as well.
You said, lastly on how you said he won't win a trophy at Newcastle. You follow England all over the place, and Steve. He's very highly rated by the FA. He's up there on their shortlist. Would he win something with England then? Would that squad, with the likes of Bellingham and that, or would you still not pick him? Who are you picking to take over?
I wouldn't mind him for England because I do think he's a good manager, and I think with them players, international football is a lot different. I just feel day to day with Eddie, he just doesn't do it for me. I'm looking at him and I just feel Newcastle need to step it up. With England, I mean, it's the old thing, innit? Like, he's better than Gareth Southgate. Fuck me, he's miles better than Gareth Southgate. If Gareth Southgate's getting his team to finals,
exactly,
and then we needed a manager with a pair of balls to go and literally attack and win. And I think Eddie will probably do that, and I think a lot of the younger lads would respect him. I think he would get the atmosphere. But Lee Carsley, as he's shown last couple of games, he's just flipped it up, and he knows a lot of these lads through the England youth setup, and he was Man City youth coach, etc. And he's probably bring a little bit more excitement to England. So I can see Carsley probably just keeping the job.
Probably, aye. Ticks the boxes, doesn't he, for the FA? Easy one. Lastly, on managers then, Steve, is Pep staying?
In my opinion, I don't think so. I feel like this could be the last year for Pep. I feel like there's a big project starting in New York, and the City group are going to want someone to spearhead it over there. And I've heard that he's been offered that, so he can go to New York with Kevin De Bruyne for New York City FC, new stadium, etc. But I was surprised at how rejuvenated he looked when he come back this season and how fresh face he looked. And then obviously after the game against Arsenal at weekend, he's booting his seat and stuff like that. So he's probably gone back to stress level 10 now. So
pressure through the roof, needs a fucking holiday.
Yeah. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I'd love him to stay. But there's got to come a point where, Pep Guardiola, it's down to him. And if he walks away, what a great time we've had with him, you know what I mean? And then we've got our own issues. But I personally think this might be his last one.
Who would you get in then? Who's linked to take over Pep? Fucking hell, an impossible task, really.
Yeah, and it's hard because you've got to follow them footsteps. But I feel like what City have done is they've built this structure at the club now where it's not about a new manager coming in and putting his own stamp on it. It's going to be, you've got to come in and continue to do what we have set up here. So this is your squad. This is the players. You get them playing this way and you manage it. And I think that you coach it. I think that's how City's going to be. So it's not going to be like a new guy comes in and brings 20 members of staff in and changes the direction. I feel like it's got to, because our academy, all the way from under 6s all the way to the 18-21s, plays the same way. Everyone plays out from the back. Everybody plays with inverted fullbacks. It's right through the club, ingrained in the club. That's why Rico Lewis come into the squad and he can play inverted fullback like it's a duck out, a duck in water. Whereas Kyle Walker struggles like fuck with that. He can't do that. He's an old-fashioned style fullback. So I don't know. And I think the managerial merry-go-round is so hard. Like one manager can be the bollocks and everyone wants him. And 2 months later, he's unemployed and nobody wants him. And I feel that's how quick it changes. We've seen it with Graham Potter, flavour of the month. We've seen it with De Zerbi, flavour of the month. Do you know what I mean? Poch, flavour of the month. Bielsa, flavour of the month. Next minute, they're out the way. I think a lot of City fans are looking at Vincent Kompany's journey over at Bayern and wondering whether he can do it. I mean, in an ideal world, in my ideal world, it'd be Pep Guardiola another 2 years. Yeah. Vincent Kompany has a good 3-year spell at Bayern Munich, wins a bit over there, and then comes to Manchester City. Vincent Kompany, former captain, manager, but very rarely happens like that. But in my head, that's what I see.
Right, then let's talk about this weekend then, Steve. You're up in the tune for it. 12:30 kick-off. Rodri's out. We know that now. It's looking like a long spell on the sidelines for him. Obviously, a huge blow for you lot. Who comes in and how will City line up?
We literally got no idea. People speculating. I think it could be a Kovacic, Gundogan, Bernardo midfield if Kevin De Bruyne's injured. So it could be Bernardo, plenty of energy, Kovacic and Gundogan, older heads in there trying to calm it down. I feel like it'd be Jeremy Doku and Savinho on the wings. A lot of excitement with them.
I like that.
Yeah, he's a great little player. Great little player. Very, very raw though. Bit like your guy, St. Maximum in the day, speedboat, no driver, ain't got a fucking clue what's going to happen. Just go with it. That's what happens with them two. Big Earl will be back. He's been to a funeral this week. He'll be back. And the back four, I reckon it'll be Guardiola left back, Ruben Diaz, Akanji, and maybe Rico Lewis at right back. Or Kyle got roasted last time. Gordon had his number cut across him and curl it in. So maybe I think Rico Lewis might go there. But other than that, it's the midfield, like you say, Rodri's fucking hell, man. He's so good for us and so important that Pep's got to find a solution for it.
It's mad how when we talk about Rodri being out and then, oh man, Rodri's out, oh what a big blow. But then you've just listed that midfield and it's still a pretty fucking decent midfield, mate, isn't it? To step in. And I remember last year at St. James's, right? We were all getting a bit excited, thinking, oh well, there's no De Bruyne on the day. He came off the fucking bench, mate. An assist and a goal within 3 minutes, flipped the game on its head. Oscar Bob last minute, lovely little touch past Trippier. Honestly, man, that's what City can do. That's the strength and depth, and that's the change. Even if De Bruyne and Rodri are out, there'll be someone else who pops up, like you say, like a Savinho, or even another midfielder will come on, or Foden will just score from fucking 30 yards or something. It's just so impossible to try and.
There's no easy game for us at St. James's Park. I can't remember going to St. James's Park and just walking away with a victory and thinking we City smashed them there.
Nah.
It was just literally like, it's always a bit mad there. And we're conceding goals as well. We're not watertight at the back. So I don't know. It might be long. It's the first one without Rodri. We don't want to get beat there and everyone panicking about the Rodri situation. So we just need a result. Take a 1-0, easy 1-0, little fucking deflection goal or anything. Just get out of there with the 3 points and move.
It was 3-3 a couple of years ago. That was an unbelievable game. We beat you in the League Cup last year. And then, like I say, you pulled it back 2-1 at our place. But Haaland's the man so far, and he's getting all the headlines as usual for banging in hat-tricks like there's not the matter. Could he catch Shearer's record? Will he stay long enough to do it? I think he can. If he stays, he would, wouldn't he? By the way he's gone.
Yeah, I think if he stays, he would. And I think the only realistic destination for him would be Real Madrid. But they just signed Mbappe. They've got Vinicius Junior. They've got Jude. They've got Rodrigo. They've got Endrick. So I'm looking at them, and I'm thinking, you've got your forward line there at least for another 5 or 6 years. So why can't Earl just carry on doing what he's doing in the Premier League? He's in the best league in the world. He's not going to get any better than that in like a league competition. So yeah, why not? If he stays, I think he'll do it. You know what I mean? He's unbelievable. 100 goals in 104 games. It's insane.
Outrageous. Absolutely outrageous, that. Like, score prediction then for Saturday, Steve?
I'm going to go 1-0. I feel like
1-0.
City, it'll be cagey. I feel like City might nick one and ride it out a little bit and get a good 3 points and get out of there quick.
I'm going to go for another high-octane, entertaining one. I'm going to go on 2-2, mate. Desmond. 2-2.
Desmond 2-2, yeah.
I'll have a bit of that.
Yeah.
All day. We turn up against the Cities and the Arsenals and that at home, and then we'll just play shite against like Bournemouth at home. It's just what we do.
Yeah.
But I want to go to St James and Eddie Howe has been unbelievable, to be fair.
And I was one thing I wanted to talk to you about, Bruno, with the Rodri injury. You see City coming in January for him or what?
Mate, you can have him the way he's playing so far this season.
Been bad.
He hasn't been playing well. Newcastle fans won't like you saying that, and obviously I didn't want to sell him. He's been given the captain's armband now. And since he's been given that captain's armband, even his performance, he's getting booed from Brazil fans, though, in national duty. He's been struggling, man. He's really been struggling. But the whole team has. No one's been clicking. That's been the problem. We've been picking up results. Listen, if we had to beat Fulham last week, we would have been top. This would have been first versus second. This game, how mental is that? Because we were unbeaten until then. But every game, we've just grinded out results. Or Harvey Barnes scored a screamer. Like, there's not one game where we've played well for 90 minutes or even 60, 70 minutes. Start game as well. Do out for an hour. Finish the last 10 minutes strong. So Bruno's been well off it, mate. The worst I've seen him play in Newcastle shit. So if you came in with 100-odd million, what that would do for us FFP wise, amortization and all that, can you hard to say no, with Tonali coming back, if we could pump in, get 2 free players for that money, it'd be a bit tempting.
I love the Tonali when he come back against Forest. Was it Forest he played? The fans were. I loved that. I loved it. I mentioned it on my channel. I said that the Geordie boys were giving him a proper, because that kid, he's probably suffered a lot, in the last few months and having to fucking not play in that, and it must be tough. You know what I mean? So there's a friend of mine has a limousine sort of concierge company, and he looks after him. He takes him around and stuff, and he says he's a lovely guy. His family and everything's great, but he said when the Newcastle fans really fucking touched him, like, to see that response. And I love all that, mate. I love all that. It's fucking bang on. But yeah, it's good to see him back. He's a great little player. He
is. He's quality, mate. And we've had to show him some love, because it couldn't have been easy moving, because he is young as well. People forget that he's only early 20s, and he's came here and he's been twiddling his thumbs and pissing down Newcastle for 10 months, not being able to kick a ball. It's going to take a toll on you that mentally. So when he came back, we had the big display for him, and then at Forest, singing his name. Everyone had little Italian flags and everything. It's just good. It's good crap, man. Isn't it?
It's good. It's good. And listen, Newcastle. I feel like this Premier League he's got it messed up. You look at transfer deadline day now. Everyone used to book a day off work. You'd fucking be sat at home. You'd be watching the reporters at different. There was even fucking people with dildos putting him in reporters' ears and shit. So it was mad transfer deadline day. Now it's shit. They've even ruined that.
Downhill, mate.
Ruined it, mate. They've ruined it. You don't even get a signing in transfer deadline day now. So the Premier League as a product is going down the fucking drain at the minute. So for me, they need to sort it out. How a team who can be £800 million in debt, like Man United, but can spend what they want because they turn over X. But Newcastle, who don't owe anyone a fucking penny and not allowed to spend any money, is just beyond fucking a joke for me.
It's mental, mate. It's mental that we can't spend. Even if you're saying we can't spend $1 billion, fair enough, but can we at least spend a fucking 100 million, 200 million, 300 million? Like, they're not able to spend anything, man. It's ridiculous. We had to sell one of our best academy players in June to Forest, Elliot Anderson, because otherwise we're going to get a points deduction. Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely insane, man.
It's bonkers, mate. It's bonkers. So I feel they've got it wrong. I feel like you're talking to an organisation that can't draw a line straight on the fucking pitch. You know what I mean? They can't get referees to make consistent decisions. 1 minute you're getting sent off for kicking the ball away. Next minute you're throwing the ball at someone's head. Then don't forget these Arsenal fans here who are crying. 2-3 weeks ago, Ben White booted the ball at John McGinn at the side of the pitch. Booted it when it all kicked off and it hit him, and they were all celebrating it. It shows how we care, yeah. Fucking that big wet white Gabriel gets the ball bounced off his bonds, and they're all crying their fucking eyes out. So you know what I mean? You can't have it both ways, lads. You know what I'm saying?
No, so I thought it was hilarious, mate. Like, but you kind of Arsenal fans were whinging at us, man, when we beat them, and Joe Willock, the ball was probably 80% out on the line, and then he put it in, and Joe Linton, they're like, oh, Joe Linton pushed him in the back. It's a foul, wasn't it?
Yeah, remember it.
He was just weak as piss. You know what I mean? He just came.
They're smacking goalkeepers out the way and all sorts now in them set pieces. They're getting 3 men on Edison, so you can't get the ball. And the way they're winning now is like how Bolton used to win against them in the day, and they used to moan about Allardyce being a fucking Big Sam's eyes. He's a clogger and that. They're doing the same shit.
They are shite, man. But let's finish off, and Steve, on otherwise we'll be here all day. It's been good crackers. Where will City finish? Where will Newcastle finish this season? When it all comes down to May.
I feel like City will win the league. I feel like we've got to keep on the coattails of everyone else. Get to January, get somebody in to replace Rodri and strengthen it out. I feel like we'll win the league again. And Newcastle, I feel like you might just fall short this year of the top 4. I'm going to say you'll finish 6.
Reckon Eddie Howe will be there at the end of the season to see we finish 6?
I think you'll give him to the end of the season, but then I think it'll be a big freshen up in the summer, new direction, new push, and Eddie will be gone.
Interesting. We're waiting to see, mate. Well, enjoy your time in the Toon, Steve, on Saturday. Not too much though. We'll have a draw, please. Let's we're all nice. Yeah, let's have a nice little draw, right? It's not Arsenal. We're not going to whinge. Let's take the draw. Works well for both parties. You'll still win the league. Be alright, man.
We'll see, mate. But I'm looking forward to it, and it's a pleasure to come on the channel, mate.
Nice one. Cheers, mate. Appreciate it, man. See you in a bit.
All the best.